When you look at your 360 data, do your ratings split by audience group? High from some stakeholders, low from others. Not random variation, not noise in the data, a pattern. Because that split is itself the diagnosis. This is the third and final data reading exercise in this module. And by now you have the diagnostic vocabulary to use it well. You know how to read self-other divergence. You know the like but not followed pattern. After expression, where you looked for self-other visibility divergence, and authority, where you looked for the liked but not followed pattern, the context gap signal is cross-rater variance. Different audiences scoring you differently on the same behaviors. The shape of the divergence tells you which gap you have. And this shape is different from the other two. It is not about you versus your stakeholders. It is about one group of stakeholders versus another group of stakeholders. With the expression gap, all rater groups see the same gap. The leader is equally invisible to everyone. Peers, direct reports, senior leaders, they all report the same limited view. With the context gap, the ratings split. Some groups see strong presence, others see a deficit. That split is the signal. The leader is not behaving inconsistently across groups. Different audiences are applying different templates for what executive looks like, and the leader's style matches one template but not the other. When direct reports rate a leader at 4.2 on presence dimensions, while senior stakeholders rate the same behaviors at 2.8, the variance is the finding. Not that the leader scored low, not that the leader scored high, that different audiences saw fundamentally different things while observing the same person. This is how you distinguish a context gap from an expression gap. Expression looks the same from every angle, universally invisible. Context looks different depending on who is watching and what their template for executive happens to be. Before concluding, this is your individual gap to close. Run through 3 checks. These are the systemic signals from the previous video, now framed as a diagnostic checklist. Is the feedback language vague and circular? You just do not have it, rather than specific behavioral feedback, like your reasoning is not visible. Have multiple leaders with similar backgrounds received similar feedback in this organization? Does this organization's definition of executive map narrowly to one communication style or one cultural norm? When all 3 are present, the data points to organizational pattern, not individual deficit, and the intervention needs to match that level. When the gap is individual, when you genuinely need to expand your style range for a new context and the organization's template is reasonable, the work is building repertoire, not changing personality. Not performing someone else's style, not becoming a version of yourself you do not recognize. Style switching within your authentic range, reading what each context calls executive, and developing the behavioral range to deliver it without losing what makes you effective. Adding to your range, not replacing it. The exercises for this come in Module 6. Here, the goal is diagnostic clarity so you know which work to do. You now have all 3 gap types. The complete ACE framework, expression, the distance between processing and visibility, diagnosed through self-other divergence in 360 data, confirmed by GNOCQ awareness expression split. The work is making the internal-external authority, the distance between proving and projecting, diagnosed through the liked but not followed pattern, confirmed by prophylaxed analytical dominance imbalance. The work is restraint and register shift. Context, the distance between your style and the audience's template. Diagnosed through cross-rater variance confirmed by organizational audit, the work is repertoire expansion or systemic change. 3 gaps, 3 data signatures, 3 fundamentally different coaching approaches, and the right diagnosis determines which path actually produces results. Before Module 3, I want you to do something specific. Write down your initial hypothesis. Which gap type do you think is primary for you? Expression, authority, or context? And write down the one piece of data from your own experience that supports that hypothesis. Not a feeling, a data point. In Module 3, you are going to take the executive presence assessment, analyze your own feedback data through this lens, and test whether your hypothesis holds. The hypothesis gives you something concrete to test against. You now have the ACE framework: authority, context, expression. 3 gaps, 3 assessment patterns, 3 coaching approaches. The diagnostic lens is in place. In Module 3, you apply it to your own data. That is where the real work begins.